it's Wednesday and it's time for another Chatty Wednesdays with me. I am coming up to my 2-year anniversary of live streaming from home. Obviously that was sparked by the pandemic, which is kind of a negative thing, but someone pointed out to me the other day that I am very good at making a positive out of the negatives, and the positive for me from the very negative situation of the pandemic was that I started live streaming, and it's something that I've continued into the years afterwards and into the future. Now that life is kind of resuming again, I don't need to live stream quite as much, but I really enjoy connecting with fans all over the world and people who aren't able to make it to London quite as often as I'm out busking by the river. I do want to start by saying this video is not necessarily sponsored, but it is inspired by the fact that I was gifted a microphone by this company called Majority. They reached out and they asked if I would like to receive a microphone from them, and I thought, why not? I'll try it out. You know, it's always good. I do a lot of live streaming, I do a lot of at-home recording, so I was like, trying out a new microphone, always welcome. So they sent me this RS Pro, and I was really interested when I opened it. Obviously it comes in this box, but then when you open that box, it comes with a little suitcase. So yeah, it just makes me feel like a massive pro, basically, right from the start. I do tend to just keep it out on my desk at the moment because it sits quite nicely on my desk, and I'll show you how. It's really lovely that it comes in this box. And for the price, I think that the box is quite a luxury edition. But this is how the mic looks when it's out of the box and all assembled. So it kind of resembles quite a lot of podcasting mics that you might see. And I actually leave it on my desk quite often, and if I am ever doing a podcast, which is a rarity for me, but I did recently feature in Music Industry Secrets Spilled, which is Lucy May Walker's podcast, and we talked about all things music industry, busking, and how to be productive, and link in description if you would like to watch that. But yeah, it's really nice to just have on my desk so that if I am ever doing even just like a quick Zoom call or anything like that, I know that I've got really high quality audio just sitting right on my desk. So yeah, that's the mic. I tend to just leave it out all the time now. It's my go-to. More recently, I've started using it for streaming on Twitch, and I've found it to be so much more convenient than my other microphones that I use for a couple of reasons. First of all, it doesn't require me to put a mic stand out because it's already kind of self-sufficient and it sits. Obviously you can take it out of this stand, but I find this stand really useful. I don't have to set up a whole extra mic stand. In addition, all of my other microphones require an interface because they are all XLR microphones, whereas this microphone goes straight into my laptop. It's a USB microphone, which is really useful. So yeah, it just goes from the microphone into the USB, straight into the laptop. It's immediately recognized by my laptop. I can't tell you how many times I've connected my interface into my laptop and then started streaming and people were like, can't hear you, because I didn't go into settings and select the interface. Whereas this microphone, as soon as I plug it in, my laptop's just like, oh yeah, you probably want to use that. Like, overrides everything. I don't know how it does it, and perhaps for more techie people, they'll be like, well, there's an obvious setting override that you can do so that your interface is recognized, but I don't know how to do that. So as a non-techie person, this mic is really easy to use. So I would highly recommend it for anyone who is thinking about getting their first mic, maybe thinking about doing some streaming, podcasting, recording at home. This microphone is really incredibly affordable. You don't need any external things. So a lot of microphones that I would recommend that are good mics, they require not just the microphone, but then also the interface and therefore additional accessories. Whereas this comes with everything that you need. You just get this mic, it comes with the lead that you need, and it goes straight into your laptop, and bam, you're recording, you're streaming, you're podcasting. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant mic. Testing 1 2 1 2. This is just a little sound comparison of the Majority RS Pro microphone that I've just been discussing in comparison to some of the microphones that I have been using previously. So I am a couple of centimeters away from the mic, just chatting into it as you would podcasting, or if you are doing vocal recording. I haven't got the pop shield in front. I am just going to pop that in front now so you can hear the difference in any kind of popping or any kind of sounds that are peaking. Hopefully none. So yeah, that's how this microphone sounds. I'm going to switch over now to the Aston mic. And here I am on the Aston, about a similar distance away that I was on the Majority RS Pro. This is a microphone that I used quite a lot in the lockdown for vocal and guitar recording, which I then sent on to a producer. When I originally got this mic, I found it a little bit too clear and crisp, and I don't know how this sound's going to come out. I'm just kind of recording each mic as I go and see how it comes out. But I found it quite a raw sound, which I found difficult to work with. but sending it on to my producer, he really appreciated that raw sound and that it didn't have any kind of compression or editing or anything on it. It's just, yeah, it's a really, really good quality audio that you're going to get. I'm just checking that I've got an okay volume because the sound waves are looking quite small to me. But yeah, so this is the Aston. And finally, this is the SM7b, which I have added a FET head to because I've always found this microphone to be slightly too quiet, and so it does require a little bit of additional gain, which you can get from a cloud lifter or a FET head, so I have added that. But you know, for the pricing of this, that it is already the most expensive mic that I'm of the three, and then it does require the addition of the FET head, and it requires obviously an interface as well, which the Aston, which was just the mic I was just speaking on, also requires, but the RS Pro majority mic does not need. It goes, that's a plug in and play, you go straight into your laptop or your computer, whereas with these ones you do require an additional interface, which is obviously extra cost. So again, as I was talking about previously, I think as a starter mic this is a really great choice, the majority RS Pro, rather than this SM7B that I'm speaking on now, because you don't need any additional setup. You don't need a FET head, you don't need an interface, you just go straight into your computer, which has pros and cons as well. I've just realised that my Mac's running out of battery and I'm screen recording. That is so embarrassing. If you follow me on Twitch, you'll know it's a bit of a common trait of mine. Anyway, I've spoken quite enough, I think, into this SM7B. So just listening back now and switching back over to the majority RS Pro mic, I did notice that the sound quality is pretty high. I've never done a sound comparison like this between the three microphones, so it is quite nice for me personally to just hear how they're sounding, and I think the RS Pro really, really stands up, especially if you look at the price comparison of these three microphones. Let's start off with the most expensive of these three mics, which is the SM7B. $299, so £300 for the Shure SM7B mic, plus the FET head, which is at least £60. Then the Aston mic, which is $235, so slightly cheaper than the Shure, and doesn't require the additional FET head in order to get a good volume. If you take into account also that both of the other mics would require an interface, 170 or 180, kind of the average price for that, so you have that additional cost to either the £230 Aston or the £300+ SM7B. You're also looking at an extra 160, 70, 80 pounds for an interface, whereas the majority RS Pro does not require one. I must say again, this is not an advert for or sponsored by Majority. They just gave me this mic for free, and I'm often asked what mics I use and things like that, and I just kind of thought it might be interesting to do a review on this, especially when it's such an affordable price point. And I do get a lot of messages from people who are just starting out, and I think that it's difficult to recommend top line stuff to people who are just starting out, because most of them are on a budget and they don't know if they want to make that huge investment yet. So for such a good quality mic, this is one I would highly recommend, especially based on this listen back. I'm really glad I did this. So thanks for tuning in. I hope this was interesting. Back to you in the studio. As a real person who is not super techie but also loves to get a great sound, I hope that these videos are useful, and let me know if there's anything you'd like me to review or anything that you would like to see here on my channel, and I will see you next week. Bye!